Guys, in this video, we're going to talk about why drinking and being an alcoholic on vacation absolutely sucked for me. It might not be what you think. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I make videos about mental health, addiction recovery, fitness, TRT, personal life updates, and it's really important to me to be a positive force in men being open and vulnerable and honest about their thoughts, their wants, their experiences, their fears, their insecurities, and their actual lives. So, on to the topic. I was listening to a guy talk about his most recent trip in Hawaii as a sober person recovering from the disease of addiction. What he talked about, though, is that he wasn't able to really enjoy himself as much as he might have wanted. He was watching other people experience their vacation as drinkers, and he did some romanticizing, and he was acutely reminded that he can't drink anymore. So naturally, I started thinking about my most recent vacations that I had taken as a drinker and trying to really take honest inventory as to how they went and if I really enjoyed them. And the answer was an astounding, overwhelming, blatant no. I'm someone who prides himself now in not bullshitting myself. I went to Hawaii with my wife for my honeymoon, so she doesn't have a drinking or drug use issue. It was torture because all I wanted to do was drink. And at the same time, I was still trying to present myself to her and the world to the best of my ability as a normal person who doesn't have alcohol on his mind 24/7, and I did. So when I'm on vacation in Hawaii, for example, I'm spending my mornings hungover, but trying to pretend I'm not hungover. I'm exhausted, I'm sleep deprived, and I have no interest in participating in the regular events of a trip. But then I was kind of miserable at night too, because my wife is not an alcoholic, so she wasn't trying to get annihilated every night on our vacation like I was. So I had to basically pretend that that's not what I was doing. I had to sneak drinks. I had to wait for her to go to bed to slam beer on the balcony by myself looking at the ocean. I would spend so much time in obsession and rumination and physical cravings just to get the smallest little inkling of relief when I would start drinking, but I wouldn't be able to push myself into oblivion most of the time, except for a couple, because I knew, or at least I thought, that it was my job to get up and act like I was excited to have a morning with her and do my thing. And the unmanageability of not being able to enjoy being in Hawaii unless I was drunk, and being irritated to be with someone who didn't want to get drunk like me, but not being able to express it. The conflict inside was perpetual. It was constant. It was miserable. It was miserable. Obsession into compulsion, into physical craving, into drug-seeking behavior. I was just doing that 24/7, and I didn't have real access to myself. So being on vacation sucked because I couldn't sleep in. I couldn't burn off these hangovers like I wanted. I couldn't be alone like I truly wanted. I wanted to be alone and drunk. That's all that made sense to me. That's all that mattered to me. That's the only way I could feel good. And so when you spend your whole days feeling miserable, pretending that you're not, you really look forward to that little moment of freedom, but it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So my memory of my trip to Hawaii was stress and anxiety and inauthenticity. I think only twice was I able to, in my alcoholic mind, break loose. Jess was tired, she went to bed early, and then I could be okay. Then I could try to have some fun. But then she wanted to go to breakfast the next day, and I was so sick, and she knew it. And that was the reality of that vacation for me. It fucking blew. It really did. There was nothing fun about that. And that's the truth. That wasn't fun. The fact that all I wanted to do was drink is sad. I have been obsessed and physically dependent and mentally dependent on alcohol for a very, very long time. And so every trip I've ever taken, whether it be a family reunion, a small getaway to a lake, Hawaii, I'm thinking about how I can relieve this discomfort inside me. And I just wanted to be left alone. That's where my drinking took me. Please, world, people, friends, family, everyone I care about, everything I care about, leave me alone. The only time I felt momentary relief from what felt like a burden of being alive, quite frankly, was as I was riding up a mountain of aggressive drinking hard. I remember thinking like, man, if I could just not want to drink right now, this would be so good. But I know I'm gonna drink, and I know I'm gonna be miserable because I can't drink like I want. I can't wait to get home. Stomach aches the next day too, diarrhea, cramping, sweating, shaking. Good times. I really had that cognitive dissonance where I wanted to be one thing, but I was behaving like another. I wanted to be this good guy. I wanted to be a thoughtful guy. I wanted to be a guy who was present. I wanted to be someone who wanted to do things on vacation, but I just wanted to get drunk. And that's been every trip for a really long time. All of that is to say that when I imagine going on vacation now as a sober person, armed with the facts about myself, working a recovery program, participating in therapy, participating in self-care daily, and being thoughtful about my life and where I've come from, I get really excited to actually experience something because I wasn't having fun. And that is the main message I want to relay to you and relay back to myself anytime I start romanticizing and playing a false reality tape of drinking, trips, and my life.
The epiphany I often come to at the end of the night, if I happen to still be coherent, it's never fucking enough to feel a certain way. And you wish you hadn't drank at all, and it's never enough to make it all feel perfect tonight. There's never enough to make it all feel perfect. Ready to rehydrate for tomorrow. Starting my greatest adventure. Fuck this life.
The good times of drinking were over. It was actually really fun for a while, and then it just was, and then it was miserable. And then I tried to stop and I couldn't. And then it started taking a lot more than it was giving, and it almost took everything. Almost took absolutely everything. So it's gonna be really nice to go on vacation and actually wanna do things. Other than think about drinking, or thinking about how to manage my hangovers. By not drinking and choosing to work a recovery program, I get everything else. I get access to truly everything else that life has to offer. Or I can give up everything for drinking. That was how it was playing out for me. While drinking elevated that sense of wellness and that euphoria for that short, brief little period of time, so long as I drank hard enough and fast enough by myself, it also disproportionately made everything else in life bleak, dull, boring, and pointless. I couldn't experience pleasure with just about anything, and I couldn't feel connection with just about anyone at any time, unless there was a catalyst of massive amounts of alcohol. Fuck that. When I think of people having fun on vacation, getting wasted, drinking early, being hungover, being in that mode, I really don't think it's real anymore. It's not real for me, because if I have to get annihilated just to be okay on vacation, I think something is wrong. And I want to be a part of a culture of men who are excited to be sober, excited to be in recovery, excited to feel and think and experience and be motivated by new things, real things. Alcohol doesn't work for me. It turns me into a different person. It takes me away from everything and everyone I love, and it isolates me from the world. And it does not serve me anymore. Just know that I'm rooting for all of us who are trying to be sober, trying to be in recovery, trying to do things different, trying to be reality-based thinkers. I'm rooting for all of us. I'm here for you. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you for listening to my words. Be sure to come back and spend time with me. I hope you heard something or felt something today that made you want to see me again. One day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time, we can get through what we are going through. I promise. And we can do it together. And remember, we can do hard things. Please, in the comment section below, leave your experiences. Do you relate with what I'm saying? Have you had a different experience? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from you. Being able to identify with you makes a big difference to me. I think it's really important. And so I value your participation on this channel. All right, guys, be brave. We'll see you guys in the next one.